Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another very exciting episode today. I'm definitely excited. Hope you are as well. This episode is going to be about soil. I know a lot of people have been asking us about it, and it's one of those things I can't always get to every email. I can't always reply to every comment, but I do read every single email. I do read every single comment, and I take everyone's concerns, and if there's a lot of them, I'll say, man, I better do a video on this. So that's why I'm doing this video, because I've seen a lot of questions come about what makes great soil, or can I grow in the soil that I have? And I want to outline some things that make up great soil, so you can kind of put a pin on a spectrum of good to, or bad to good, whichever way you want to go. Either way, that can tell you if you can grow in your soil right now, if it needs some work. But I do want to let you know that soil is never perfect. My soil is never perfect. Your soil will never be perfect. And that might seem defeating, but it's actually not. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to be able to read your soil. I have always said that soil is the most unknown thing that there is. We probably know more about space than we know about soil. There is so many unknown things, and I like to say that it is a foreign language. And so if you look at your soil like a foreign language, think about your plants as the translator. And you can't, the soil doesn't talk to you. The soil doesn't speak to you. But your plants speak your language. Your plants will speak to you, and in a language that you can understand. And so I call them the translator for the unknown language of soil, because there are so much things going on in soil, so many things interlinked. And so I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to show you just how interlinked and how complex it is, hopefully in a way that's going to be easy to understand, but also in a way that's going to help you to improve your soil, because I think that the soil is the number one reason why people are having failed gardens. It's the number one reason why people have less than perfect results. It's a reason why so many people get discouraged and stop gardening. And I think that is such a shame, because a lot of people look at soil and they think soil is soil. Not all soil is created equal. It's not. And if it is, wow, I have not seen perfect soil, and I don't think perfect soil exists, and I certainly wish it was all created equal, but what I do want to talk about are just some things that can make it close to perfect, and so you can take different components from this, and you can say, well, I have this, but I don't have this, and you can add what you don't have in hopes to make it perfect, but it's always a work in progress. If you do not continuously work at your soil, it's going to begin to degrade. The quality is going to go down. And the first component to making great soil is good drainage and good aeration. These two go together, and so they're both components that make up great soil, but they go together. And that is because good drainage will have air pockets. That allows water to drain through. The air pockets give it the good aeration. And so you can see how they both have to go together in the same one. The good aeration allows for microbes to thrive. It allows for the roots to penetrate through the soil and work out to find the nutrients in water. It also allows water to drain through the soil to feed the roots the nutrients that are in the soil. It allows the roots to become hydrated. It also gives microbes the water that they need to survive. And so having good drainage is important. If your soil is too clay, it's going to be too compacted. You'll notice that the root ball on your plants is very small, and it cannot go throughout the soil very well. That's because clay just packs together. It does not have good drainage or good aeration. If you notice, you get a really heavy rain, the water goes whoop right off the clay, and it does not go down very far. However, if you get a very heavy rain, or if water sits in a certain area for a long time, oh, the clay will pick the water up, trust me, but there's no air pockets, so it doesn't drain through. It just sticks to that clay, and the clay just holds it in close, and then you have root rot. So you have other problems. And so that's kind of those things. If you see that your plants are small, if the root ball is small at the end of the year, if your plants are having root rot, your soil is telling you that it's too heavy in clay, and you can fix that by adding compost, which we'll talk about. Now, on the flip side, if your soil is too sandy, you'll notice that nutrients, they flow through the soil too well. there's too much aeration. Too much of anything, it can be a bad thing. And so if you have too much aeration, your soil is going to drain too quickly. The microbes are not going to have enough surface area to cling to, and everything's just going to flood right through your soil. It's going to dry out much quicker, and so your plants are going to be they're going to be droopy. Your plants are going to be dry a lot. They're going to be usually suffering from nutrient deficiencies a lot, and so you can see your plants are going to tell you, hey, you know, I'm suffering here, and if it's showing those signs, it's probably too sandy. And so you can fix that by adding some compost. But now I want to talk about the next component of good quality soil, which is lots of organic matter. Now again, that ties into compost. Compost brings in that organic matter. It brings in your macronutrients, because we're going to talk about minerals in the next component of this, but macronutrients, your nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. You do get other things with compost. You do get some minerals, and you do get some kind of semi-micro, semi-macronutrients, which we'll talk about, which is iron and calcium. You do get those in compost. And that's important. You need the macronutrients, and you need the iron and the calcium, and you need that in your soil in large amounts, because your plants take up primarily those nutrients to grow and to thrive and to stay healthy. But the compost will also help to break down the clay. It'll help to add aeration to your soil. It'll help to add porosity. Porosity is like how well it holds on to water. But it won't hold on to too much water like clay does either. It adds good porosity, good drainage, good aeration. It allows for soil microbes and fungi, which we'll also talk about. It allows for the air pockets for them to colonize. It has good surface area for them to call home. And so having the compost is extremely important. But there's an old saying, man cannot live on bread alone. And I wanted to talk about the thought that plants can live on compost alone. Plants cannot live on just compost alone. Compost provides minerals. Yes, I will not lie there and say that it does not. Compost provides minerals. However, the minerals in clay is so far superior to the minerals found in compost. The amount of them is so much greater in clay. It just is. And so what we like to do is we like to incorporate the native clay soil with our compost. That's going to provide minerals. Also, you can't just let your soil go. The minerals will leave your soil. Plants will take them up. Water will wash them away. You have to remineralize your soil by adding compost and rock dust, or compost and clay. You need those minerals. Those minerals are very important, which we'll talk about when it comes to the microbes and fungi portion, but they're very important to your plants. Micronutrients are some of the hardest deficiencies to figure out, and they might not even be seen. It might just be like you might have an insect problem. Insects come in when your plant's immune system are weakened, and your plant might look very healthy, and all of a sudden you have an aphid infestation, and that might be because the plant is stressed for some reason, and it might just be because it's not getting enough micronutrients. And so those micronutrients need to be in your soil. And so by adding the clay in combination with the compost, it's going to break down that clay, so you're not going to have the compaction problem that you have with clay, still all the while giving them the minerals that they need. So that's a good thing. You know, and you can add, like I said, you don't have to add clay. If you don't have clay, you don't even have to add it. You can, if you are going with solely bagged compost, you can add rock dust or green sand or like a glacial, any type of glacial rock dust, crushed volcanic rock, basalt, anything like that. It's going to give you good mineralization in your soil. So that is a component to good soil. Now the next component and the final component is good microbes and fungi. With good microbes and fungi, it's going to allow for your plants to get those micronutrients. See how I can't make this video without making them all tied together. The microbes and fungi in your soil will come when you put in organic matter. It will come in the form of worms coming to break down the organic matter, leaving worm castings behind. Worm castings are 6 times higher in microbes than compost is. So you're going to have a super microbe-rich soil here when you incorporate worms and stuff in, and they'll come in naturally when you add organic matter. But those microbes and the fungi, they create a symbiotic relationship with the plant to trade sugars that the plant creates through photosynthesis in exchange for the minerals found in the clay and the azomite or whatever you're adding that has the micronutrients in there. Many of those micronutrients are not plant available, and the plant simply can't take them up. So what the plant has done is created a very ingenious symbiotic relationship, a trade agreement between the two that says, hey, you need sugars to survive. I have an excess of sugars that I'm creating naturally. Would you like to trade some of your minerals that you get from the soil in exchange for some of the sugars that I get from the sun that happens naturally? And the microbes are very happy to trade, and so they will go out and they will get those minerals, those micronutrients that the plant can't have, make the plant available, and they will attach to the plant roots. And so by having a soil that's rich in microbes and fungi, you're going to have a soil web that can really sustain life. And so that is why they're all tied together. You simply can't have one without the other. You can't have, I mean, if one fails, the other ones will fail as well. If one is weakened, the other ones will be weakened as well. It's a chain reaction, and that's why your soil always has to be a work in progress. It always has to be being improved on. And that's why I'm always continuously stressing to keep improving your soil, keep remineralizing, keep adding compost, keep putting cover crops, all this good stuff that is that's very important. In summary, to have great quality soil, you need to start with a foundation of clay and compost. The clay is going to provide the minerals, the compost is going to provide the aeration and the drainage. The minerals are going to help feed the plants through the microbes. The compost is going to create an environment for the microbes and fungi to thrive. And then also it's going to allow for the macronutrients that are going to break down from the compost to feed the plants the macronutrients that are essential for life. And I really think that kind of sums it up right there. That sums up just how complex it is. And I hope you all just take this and learn from it and keep improving on your soil. And that's all I've got. Hopefully I didn't overcomplicate anything. Hopefully I didn't confuse you all. And that's it. I mean, when I say that's it, it's kind of like, it can't be it. It seems a lot more complex than that, but I think I've done a good job of making it easily understandable. But if you have any more comments or questions, make sure to post them in the comments box below. I'd love to get to them. And also, yeah, just trust your plants. You know, they will speak to you. If you have a good biofilm, if you have really green leaves, if your plants don't have any pest damage or anything like that, chances are they are doing fine, they're doing great, and they're speaking to you. They're being the translator for your soil, and they'll let you know, I promise. They won't go a minute without letting you know what's wrong with your soil. And so always be rebuilding, always be remineralizing, and always, please always be growing big or going home. I'll catch you later. See ya. Bye.